Hello, everybody. What's going on? Today, we have a very interesting topic because I feel like the way that people view wellness is different than what it truly means. Wellness nowadays is very popularized and it's very much Pilates, matcha, which definitely goes into wellness, but there's a different definition of wellness that I have been conjuring up that I think it's very important for us to talk about. And so I want to start with this statement, which is in the thumbnail: true health is accurate assessment plus action. And I was thinking about this and it made me question, what does it really mean to be well? Okay, so to be well means experiencing true health in all areas of one's life. Okay, and the four main areas we're going to look at today are physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional. Now, what do we mean by true health is accurate assessment plus action? Well, what is an assessment? An assessment is an evaluation. Okay, so if you are evaluating yourself accurately, accurate means correct. That means that you can take a look at yourself and notice something and come up with the proper conclusion of what you are noticing. You're not deceiving yourself, you're open to the truth, and you're just open to experiencing the reality of whatever it is that you notice. And then from there, you take action. Okay, so accurate assessment plus action is what true health means. And when you want to be well, you have to do this type of equation in all four areas of the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional, which we mentioned. Okay, so I also want to note that when you're doing these assessments, these evaluations of self, it's important to be able to do it by yourself. So look at yourself and say, okay, I've been doing this bad habit repeatedly. What's going on? But also, if you need help from other people, it's important to go and get that, because other people that you trust, such as your elders or your friends or professionals, they are going to have some type of usually accurate conclusion to come to that will help you out and help you to get to that next step, which is the action part. Now, let's look at different examples of what this can look like in the physical. Okay, so if we have our equation, which is true health is accurate assessment plus action in these four areas, that's wellness. So let's look at the first area, which is physical. So say that you have been really dehydrated. Okay, you're dehydrated. That is something that you notice about yourself, and therefore you're evaluating that. Now let's look at the other things around that could be causing that. Maybe you've been eating a lot of potato chips. I know personally potato chips make me dehydrated. I noticed that. And so you have to then take action. You can eliminate the potato chips or you can up your hydration. I just made a few videos on hydration and I can link those for y'all in the description, or perhaps let me see if I can put them in the chat. Put it in the chat right now because I know that hydration is something a lot of people struggle with. Okay. So the action I'm going to take is to make myself more hydrated. Okay. And that is what a healthy person would do. That is what a person who is well would do. If we look at the opposite side of that, you notice you're dehydrated and maybe it's consistent and you don't do anything about it. You're just like, oh man, this is just part of who I am, or this is just like, it'll pass. Maybe it'll pass. I think naturally in humans, we have a mechanism where we just drink more water when we're dehydrated. But if it's something that's severe, like you notice your skin's dry and all these other things, you take action. And that is what a healthy person does. Now, if we look at a spiritual example, and it doesn't always have to be an observation of the negative, right? So the first one we looked at, dehydration is usually negative, but being healthy also means you can look at something positive in your life and keep doing that thing or build upon that thing. So if you notice that you have energy, all right, this is the spiritual aspect of wellness, and things are happening, like you're getting compliments often and you're receiving a lot of free things. Okay, so that's the assessment that you're noticing. That's the evaluation that you are coming up with in your life at this moment. So it's like, okay, I'm experiencing all these good things. I have a lot of energy. And so you would want to keep this going. What you do is you take action from there to keep it going. You take inventory of the things that you have already been doing so that you can keep doing them, so that you can keep having this level of energy and keep getting these compliments and these free things that, people are just gifting you with. You're open to receiving. You look at that, a healthy person looks at that, and then they go and produce more of it. They build upon it. A unhealthy person, or a person who is unwell in this, might feel like it's too much. And so they then self sabotage. So it's like, oh, I have all this energy. I'm doing all these things. Like life feels good right now. Let me go and have a wild night with my friends. And then you kind of just self sabotage, because then what? You're doing things that deplete your energy, like partying and drinking and engaging in all these things. And then you have to go ahead and build your energy up again. So that is something that you could also look at and build upon and say, okay, let me evaluate myself. I just self sabotaged. What action do I need to take now to not self sabotage? Again, that is a part of wellness. It's always about just being able to see yourself from an honest perspective of what's actually going on, and then doing something from there if you like it or not. And it doesn't have to be always in the way that I'm explaining it, where it's like very deliberate and very um yeah, just very deliberate. It can be, it gets to a point when you're truly healthy and you're truly well, where these things just come automatically, but at first it takes practice, right? Like you might be, let's go back to the physical one, dehydrated, and you might actually at first have to take a look at, okay, how can I be more hydrated? It takes that deliberate action. But once you get to a place where you're healthy, it's like, oh, let me just drink some coconut water. I need to drink some coconut water. I need to, do some mouth tape tonight so that I'm not breathing through my mouth. Like, it becomes easier to just continually be a healthy person and be well. At first, it does take a little work because you need to know yourself, number one, and then you need to know those steps that you take to become a healthy person, to become more of a well person. And I also want you to notice that when we're speaking about health and wellness in this way, it doesn't necessarily have one look. Like, healthy people don't have to have a certain look. Like, but when we think of a healthy person, we can see someone who's lean, That's what we think of, really, like someone who's really fit, but it doesn't have to be like that. You can be someone, maybe you're sick or something, but you're taking those steps to get better. That makes you a healthy person. When you're sick and you're still engaging in those things that are making you sick, that's when you're not a healthy person. So there's a way that we look at health that can be, you know, gazed upon a little deeper. We can go a little deeper into what health and wellness actually means. Now, we did physical, we did spiritual. Let's do mental. So let's start with the evaluation, or everything really starts with an observation and then we assess what that means. So you notice that your mind is cluttered and then so is your space. So you're evaluating this saying, oh, I've been moving too quickly. It's time for me to slow down. Then you take action from there on how to slow down. Okay, at 2 p.m. every day, I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes. And also tonight, I'm going to take the time to clean up my room because my mind's cluttered, my space is cluttered, and the inner world is starting to, affect the outer world in that way where things are getting cluttered. So I want to fix that. That that's what a healthy person does. Okay? When your mind is cluttered in this mental situation, an unhealthy person would probably think, "Oh my gosh, I just need to get everything done then." Which you probably still need to get everything done, but you've been operating that way and it's not been helping, right? The things that need to be done aren't going to change because they still need to be done, but you can change the mental, the way that your mind is working. You can change that. Now let's move on to emotional. This example, you notice a feeling arise during a conversation and you don't like this feeling. Okay. So if you were to accurately assess this, it could be like, and sometimes this can happen during conversation or after, right? It gets to a point, like I said, where you do it so much that it becomes normal. There's a plane flying. And so if you can do this during conversation where it's like, okay, I notice I'm communicating with somebody and they said something that triggered me, it made me feel uncomfortable. So evaluating that is like, okay, I feel insecure right now. The action you need to take is to figure out why you feel insecure or to ask for clarity on what that person meant. Because clarity is going to reveal whether they meant to offend you or not. If they meant to offend you, you move forward by protecting yourself in some way, right? Hey, you said this, I didn't like it. I'm not talking to you right now. Or they clarify and they didn't mean to offend you and it's like, "Oh, that's something I need to work on because, this is not what that person meant. Why did that bring that up for me?" And then you work through that. Maybe you journal. Maybe I think journaling is probably the best for that type of thing. Okay, so notice that all of these accurate assessments, the first part of the equation, they start with an observation. Okay, they start with an observation. The true meaning of health is being able to accurately assess yourself, and you can seek help sometimes and then take action from there. And then wellness is being able to do that basically all around. So holistic health and wellness, they're like basically synonyms. They're one and the same. And you need to be self-aware. Self-awareness just comes from being honest with yourself about what you're actually feeling safer with yourself, and taking the time to get to know those aspects of you, alone time, things like that. And those are things that are easily done. I think we have a hurdle in our minds about, like taking this time to myself to really sit down and do like a 45-minute stretch or something like that to really release those emotions. There's some resistance there, but it's actually not a hard thing. So, this is what true health means, okay? You can be a healthy person today. You can be a well person today. It doesn't have to be you in the future who's healthy. As long as you decide to do something immediately about whatever it is that you're experiencing. As long as you can be honest with yourself and say, okay, I'm dehydrated, or my mind is cluttered, or I have a lot of energy, or what was the last one? This person that I'm in conversation with offended me. As long as you can look and accurately assess a situation and yourself and then take action from there, you can be healthy. You can be holistically healthy. You can be well. And it's good to check in every once in a while to see if you're missing anything in these four areas: physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional. And then fix that up. All right. So I hope this has helped you to understand what health really means, what wellness really means, and stay golden.